Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Dana Brajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Dana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pakapacharya Satarya Satashishi His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gauda Vaishnavindra Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sikoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauda Bhaktivedanta Ki His Compounder Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jamuna Maya Ki Ganga Maya Ki Tulsi Devi Ki Bhakta Devi Ki Shishi Radha Golokananda Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktavinda. So we're continuing our reading of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're in Madhya Lila, chapter 19. And we're going to read, we're on text 154, but I'm going to read 153, just the purport. And then, not the purport, but the translation. Kind of help keep it in context. But so I guess we're kicking off our festival week of the appearance day of Lord Chaitanya this Thursday. So it's just nice. We're in one of the most best parts of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a discussion of Lord Chaitanya and Rupa Goswami. So, text 153. As one, 152, that's what I'm going to read, 152 first. When a person receives the seed of devotional service, he should take care of it by becoming a gardener and sowing the seed in his heart. If he waters the seed gradually by the process of Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting, the seed will begin to sprout. As one waters the bhakti, lata bij, the seed sprouts and the creeper gradually grows to the point where it penetrates the walls of this universe and goes beyond the Vraja river, lying between the spiritual world and the material world. It attains Brahmaloka, the Brahman effulgence, and penetrating through that stratum, it reaches the spiritual sky and the spiritual planet of Goloka Vrindavan. Purport. A creeper generally takes shelter of a big tree, but the Bhakta Lata creep, being the creeper of spiritual energy, cannot take shelter of any material planet. For there is no tree on any material planet that the bhakti creeper can utilize for shelter. In other words, devotional service cannot be utilized for any material purpose. Devotional service is meant only for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes men with poor fund of knowledge maintain that bhakti can be applied to material things also. In other words, they say that devotional service can be rendered in one's country or to the demigods, rendered to one's country or to the demigods. But this is not a fact. Devotional service is specially meant for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is beyond this material range. There is a river, or causal ocean, between the spiritual and material natures. And this river is free from the influence of the three modes of material nature. Therefore, it is called Raja. The prefix V means Vigata, completely eradicated, and Rajas means the influence of the material world. On this platform, a living entity is completely free from material entanglement. For the Gyanis who want to merge into the Brahman effulgence, there is Brahmaloka, and the Bhakti Lata, however, has no shelter in the material world, nor has it shelter in Brahmaloka. Although Brahmaloka is beyond the material world, the Bhakti Lata grows until it reaches the spiritual sky, where Goloka Vrindavan is situated. So, Om Ganda Timuranda Shyagananjana Shilakya Chakshur Om Litam Yena. So it's the Brahmaloka. It's in this material world, the topmost place in this material world. There's also outside the universe, there's also the Brahmaloka, Mahakala. So these Gyanis will go, before they leave, they'll go to Brahmaloka. They'll elevate themselves and to Mahaloka, Tapaloka, Jnanaloka, and then some to Brahmaloka. And then when the end of Brahma's lifetime, then they leave the material world with Brahma and merge, those who want to merge. So it's a completely different path that they... So this Bhakti Lakta Beej is extremely important. And how we watered it, we'll keep discussing it with how Shravanam and Kirtanam. Actually, Tapanam Mishra in the Chaitanya Bhagavat was chanting Hare Krishna. It was described he was chanting the Mahamantra. But because he wasn't practicing any of the 5 primary limbs of devotional service, he wasn't getting anywhere. He was getting, this progress was almost nil. There was some progress, but the progress was very slow. So if you want to accelerate the process, there's a means by which you can perfect it. So when he went and saw, in a dream, he heard about Lord Chaitanya. He went and saw Lord Chaitanya, and then Lord Chaitanya disclosed this to him, the fact that he was chanting without practicing these 5 primaries. The 5 primaries is, one is Srimad Bhagavatam class, worshiping the deities, associating with devotees, living a holy place like Vrindavan or Mayapur, and chanting the Lord's holy name. These are the 5 primary limbs. I guess there are 39 altogether, but these 5 are the most important. Of course, living in Vrindavan and Mathura, a holy place, is one of these. Of course, you can practice one of them. Like, of course, Srimad Bhagavatam was probably the most important. Chanting Hare Krishna actually is important, and then supported by one of these 5. And Srimad Bhagavatam class is so important. So it's very important that we engage in these primary limbs. Of course, living in a holy place, temple is a spiritual place, but it's living in a holy place a little bit different. There's described 5 types of Brijabasis, four Brijabasis. It's described 4 types. One who lives there, one who was born there, one who, regardless of wherever he is, he's constantly thinking about Vrindavan, just like Prabhupada. And then the 4th one is one who dies there. So these are the 4 types of Brijabasis that are considered that live in the holy place. Okay, so 154. Being situated in one's heart and being watered by Shravanam Kirtanam, the Bhakti Kripa grows more and more. In this way, it attains the shelter of the desire tree of the lotus feet of Krishna, who is eternally situated in the planet known as Goloka Vrindavan, in the topmost region of the spiritual sky. Purport. In the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 37, it is said, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratiprabhavit, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavit, Tabis Tapirya Eva Nijarup Pataya Kalabi, Goloka Eva Nivastyak Kilatma Puto, Govindamadi Purusam Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. He resides in his own realm, Goloka, with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure and who embodies the ecstatic potency, Aldini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form, and who are imbued with and permeated with ever blissful spiritual rasa. In the spiritual world, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, has expanded himself by his spiritual energy. He has his eternal form of bliss and knowledge and Satsat Ananda Vigraha, Brahma Samhita 5, text 1. Everything in the Goloka Vrindavan planet is a spiritual expansion of Satsat Ananda. Everyone there is of the same potency, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa. The relationship between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his servitor is Chinmaya Rasa. Krishna and his entourage and paraphernalia are on the same Chinmaya potency, of the same Chinmaya potency. In this way, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is expanded throughout the spiritual world. And when that Chinmaya Rasa potency expands through the material potency, it becomes all-pervading. The idea is that although the Supreme Personality of Godhead exists on his own planet, Goloka Vrindavan, he is also present everywhere. Anantarasta paramanu chayantarastam. Brahma Samhita 5.35. He is present within all the universes, although they are innumerable, and he is also present within the atom. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Ridi Dasa Arjuna Tishtati. Bhagavad Gita 18:61. He is also present within the heart of all living entities. This is his all-pervasive potency. Goloka Vrindavan is the highest planet in the spiritual world. In order to go to the spiritual world after penetrating the covering of the material universe, one must penetrate Brahmaloka, the spiritual effulgence. Then one can come to Goloka Vrindavan planet. There are also other planets in the spiritual world called Vaikuntha planets. And on these planets, Lord Narayan is worshipped with awe and veneration. On these planets, Sancharash is prevalent. And some of the devotees are also connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Dasharas, the mellow of servitorship. As far as the mellow of fraternity is concerned, in Vaikuntha, this rasa is represented by Gaurava Shakti, friendship and awe and veneration. The other fraternity rasa, exhibited as Vishramba, friendship and equality, is found in Goloka Vrindavan. Although that's service to the Lord, in Vatsalya rasa, parental love, and above all is a relationship with the Lord in the Madhurya rasa, conjugal love. These 5 rasas are fully exhibited in the spiritual world in one's relationship with the Lord. Therefore, in the spiritual world, the bhakti creeper finds its resting place at the lotus feet of Krishna. So you can see there's many destinations in the spiritual world. We say these 5 primary rasas, and there's unlimited spiritual planets. Ayodhya is one, Dwarka is one, and so if you're a bhakti, if you're a Ram Bhakta, your Bhakti Lata breeds, that creeper will go to the lotus feet of Lord Ram. We are being kind of brought to the lotus feet of Krishna. And as you feel, like what Bhakti Siddhanta kind of puts it, really kind of interesting. He says, as we progress in devotional service, we feel the love of Krishna, because this love is emanating from Krishna. And as we make more advancement, we tend to feel that love even more. So therefore we have what's called rasa. We have nishta, which become fixed, and then come ruchi, which is a taste, and then we become shakti, which become attached. So he describes it in that way that and that actually propels us. And you can see why those advanced devotees look for this lobha, this greed. It's described by Rupa Goswami that you find it anywhere in the marketplace, you buy it immediately. You obtain it, because that's what really going to nourish that bhakti lata reed. That's going to intensify our desire. So he says that we, as preachers, we preach. What we do is we're preaching in a way that we help people become qualified to receive the mercy of the Lord. That's what preaching is. This is how Bhakti Siddhanta. So if you're preaching and you're trying to help somebody, basically you're helping them to become qualified, become a recipient of that mercy. So it's really nice. That's from the Chaitanya Bhagavat, his commentaries. Okay, 155. The creeper gradually expands in the Goloka Vrindavan planet, and there it produces the fruit of love for Krishna. Although remaining in the material world, the gardener regularly sprinkles the creeper with water of hearing and chanting. Purport. In Goloka Vrindavan, the devotees have very intimate relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee engages in the Lord's service in great ecstatic love. Such love is exhibited personally by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his teachings to the people of the material world. The fruit of the devotional creeper is the pure desire to serve and please the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Driya Priti Icha Dare Prema Nama Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela Chapter 4, Text 165. In the spiritual world, there is no desire other than to please the senses of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The conditioned soul within the material world can neither understand nor appreciate how a pure devotee in the material world can render confidential service to the Lord out of feelings of ecstatic love and always engage in pleasing the Supreme Lord's senses. Although seen within this material world, the pure devotee always engages in the confidential service of the Lord. An ordinary neophyte cannot realize this. Therefore, it is said, Vaishnavira Kriya Mudra Vigje na Buj Haya. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 23, text 39. That's the conversation with Sanatana Goswami. The activities of the pure Vaishnava cannot be understood even by a great learned scholar in the material world. Every living entity wandering within this universe in different species, let me try that again. Every living entity is wandering within this universe in different species and on different planetary systems according to his fruitive activities. Out of many millions of living entities, one may be fortunate enough to receive the seed of the Bhakti Lata, the seed of devotional service. By the grace of the spiritual master and Krishna, one nourishes the Bhakti Lata by regularly sprinkling it with the water of Shravanam Kirtan, hearing and chanting. In this way, the seed of the Bhakti Lata sprouts and grows up and up through the whole universe until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and reaches the spiritual world. The Bhakti Lata continues to grow until it reaches the topmost planetary system, Goloka Vrindavan, where Krishna lives. There, the creeper takes shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and that is its final destination. At the time the creeper begins to grow the fruits of ecstatic love of God, it is the duty of the devotee to nourish the creeper, to be very careful. It is said that the watering of the creeper must continue. Hitan mali seche nicha shravanadi jala. It is not that at a certain stage one can stop chanting and hearing and become a mature devotee. If one stops, one certainly falls down from the devotional service. Although one may be very exalted in devotional service, he should not give up the watering process of Shravanam Kirtanam. If one gives up that process, it is due to an offense. This is described in the following verse. So it's a really, really pretty good warning that we have to be very determined in this process to be successful. And again, these 5 limbs, associating with the devotees and then chanting the Lord's holy name. These are why they're stressed, extremely important. For a fruitive worker, they're of course, that's us where we came from. We've been eternally existing in this one universe after another. Eternally we've been here. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami says, the only thing that interrupts our enjoying propensity is death. And then we got to start over again. That's the materialist. They go on and on and on and on, trying to endeavor to enjoy. And their only interruption is death. Text 156, translation. If the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper are dried up. Purport. One's devotional attitude increases in the association of a Vaishnava. Chandreya Charana Seva Bhakti Sane Vasa Janmane Haya E Abhilasa. By his personal example, Narottam Das Thakur stresses that a devotee must always remember to please his predecessor Acharya. The Goswamis are represented by one spiritual master. One cannot be an Acharya, spiritual master, without following strictly in the disciplic succession of the Acharyas. One who is actually serious about advancing in devotional service should desire only to satisfy his previous Acharyas. Echaya Gosaya Yara Mui Tara Dasa. One should always think of oneself as a servant of the Acharyas. And thinking this, one should live in the society of Vaishnavas. Madhya Lila, chapter 13, text 80. However, if one thinks that he has become very mature and can live separate from the association of Vaishnavas and thus gives up all the regulated principles due to offending a Vaishnavas, one's position becomes very dangerous. Offenses against the holy name are explained in Adi Lila, chapter 8, verse 24. Giving up the regulated principles and living according to one's whims is compared to a mad elephant, which by force uproots the Bhakti Lata and breaks it into pieces. In this way, the Bhakti Lata shrivels up. Such an offense, this is called Guru Avagana. The devotee must therefore be very careful not to commit offense against the spiritual master by disobeying his instructions. As soon as one is deviated from the instructions of the spiritual master, the uprooting of the Bhakti Lata begins, and gradually all the leaves dry up. 157. The gardener must defend the creeper by fencing it all around so that the powerful elephant of fences may not enter. Purport. While the bhakti creeper is growing, the devotee must protect it by fencing it all around. The neophyte devotee must be protected by being surrounded by pure devotees. In this way, he will not give the maddened elephant a chance to uproot his bhakti creeper. One associates with non-devotees, the maddened elephant is set loose. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said, Asat Sangha Tyag, E Vaishnava Acharya, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22, text 87. The first business of a Vaishnava is to give up the company of non-devotees. A so-called mature devotee, however, commits a great offense by giving up the company of pure devotees. The human being is a social animal. And if one gives up the society of pure devotees, he must associate with non-devotees. Asat Sangha. By contacting non-devotees and engaging in non-devotional activities, a so-called mature devotee will fall victim to the maddened elephant offense. Whatever growth has taken place is quickly uprooted by such an offense. One should therefore be very careful to offend the creeper by fencing it in. That is, by following the regulative principles and associating with pure devotees. Even one thinks that there are many pseudo-devotees or non-devotees in Krishna consciousness society, still one should stick to the society. Right? So you can't live with them, but you can't live without them. If one thinks the society's members are not pure devotees, one can keep direct company with the spiritual master. And if there is no doubt, one should consult. If there is any doubt, okay, let me back that up. If one thinks society's members are not pure devotees, one can keep direct company with the spiritual master. And if there is any doubt, one should consult the spiritual master. However, unless one follows the spiritual master's instructions concerning the regulative principles and chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, one cannot become a pure devotee. By one's mental concoctions, one falls down. By associating with non-devotees, one breaks the regulative principles and is thereby lost. In the Upadeshamrita of Srila Rupa Goswami, it is said, Anyantara prascha prajapo niyamagraha janad sangascha laulam chasaibir bhakti vinasyati. Nectar of learning, number 2. One's devotional service is spoiled when one becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities. 1, eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than necessary. 2, over-endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to attain. 3, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters. 4, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement. Or rejecting the rules and regulations of scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5, associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6, being greedy for mundane achievements. Anybody got any comments about what we're reading so far? I can barely hear what you're saying. We don't associate with non-devotees. Yeah, we don't associate with non-devotees. But yeah, well, that's a different type of association. Yeah, we associate when we try to give Krishna consciousness to such a person. Yeah. So it's of the Majjhima Nikaya, that's the innocent, right? He preaches to the innocent of the 5 types. So that's the people. So of the we don't associate with non-devotees, but of those, do we see those who appear to be innocent? Then we try to preach to those individuals. So we make some kind of discrimination in how we see. Often that is normally by their behavior. They reveal something. They see somehow they're inclined to. Sometimes a person will just show up at the temple. You've never seen a person before. They come and visit. They may be on the internet. They've come in contact. Or in this, like the college priests, sometimes in these bhakti clubs, somebody will show up at one of these programs that bhakti. So these innocent people are not in that category. These people are those we want to associate with. We want to give them the opportunity to feel the love as expressing. We give them our association, yeah. Especially the accumulated association, because I don't have much in my way to give. I have no potency. But that's the association of combined kirtan. That's why kirtan is so much more effective than just japa. Japa is effective, and we hear and we chant. But when we're in the association of devotees, then it becomes multiplied. See, so you have somebody leading the kirtan, then you have quite a number of people who respond, and here in that response is where all that nectar is. That's because you multiply that bhakti. And that's why that sadhu sangha is really a nectar thing, because then you multiply it by hundreds or thousands, and the mercy is just really. I think you all talked about the joy one time in the class. You mentioned the feeling joy and Krishna consciousness, joyful. But as Bhaktisiddhanta describes it, as feeling the love. It's because it's all emanating from Krishna. All of this is coming from Krishna. None of this is concocted. And the devotees brought it to us like Prabhupada. It took a lot of love for Prabhupada to sacrifice as much as he did to bring us what he brought us. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So the comment was that when we experience this Krishna consciousness and we receive in this mercy, there's an obligation to share it. Yeah, yeah. So a preacher naturally has this compassion to preach. Yeah, good point. Okay, 158. Sometimes unwanted creepers, such as creepers of desires for material enjoyment and liberation from the material world, grow along with the creeper of devotional service. The varieties of such unwanted creepers are unlimited. Some unnecessary creepers grow with the bhakti creeper, are the creepers of behavior unacceptable for those trying to attain perfection. Diplomatic behavior, animal killing, mundane profiteering, mundane adoration, and mundane importance. All these are unwanted creepers. Profit, adoration, and distinction. Sometimes it's all we often describe it. Purport. There is a certain pattern of behavior prescribed for those actually trying to become perfect. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we advise our students not to eat meat, not to gamble, not to engage in illicit sex, and not to indulge in intoxication. People who indulge in these activities can never become perfect. Therefore, these regulated principles are for those interested in becoming perfect and going back to Godhead. Kutinati, or diplomatic behavior, cannot satisfy the Atma, the soul. It cannot even satisfy the body or the mind. Yeah, we know that. The culprit mind is always suspicious. Therefore, our dealings should always be straightforward and approved by Vedic authorities. If we treat people diplomatically or duplicitously, our spiritual advancement is obstructed. Jiva himsana refers to killing of animals or to envy of other living entities. The killing of poor animals is undoubtedly due to envy of those animals. The human form is meant for understanding of Krishna consciousness, Atodo Brahma Jinasha, for inquiring about the Supreme Brahman. In the human form, everyone has a chance to understand the Supreme Brahman. The so-called leaders of a human society do not know the real aim of human life and are therefore busy with economic development. This is misleading. Every state and every society is busy trying to improve the quality of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. This human form of life is meant for more than those four animal principles. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending are problems found in the animal kingdom. And the animals have solved these problems without difficulty. Why should human society be so busy trying to solve these problems? The difficulty is that people are not educated to understand this simple philosophy. They think that advancement of civilizations means increasing sense gratification. There are many religious propagandists who do not know how the ultimate problems of life can be solved. And they also try to educate people in the form of sense gratification. This is also jiva himsana. Real knowledge is not given, and religionists mislead the general populace as far as material profits are concerned. One should know that whatever material profit one has must be abandoned at the time of death. Unfortunately, people do not know that there is life after death. Therefore, mundane people waste their time amassing material profit, which has to be left behind at the time of death. Such profit has no eternal benefit. Similarly, adoration by mundane people is faultless because after death, one has to accept another body. Material adoration and titles are decorations that cannot be carried over to the next body. In the next life, everything is forgotten. All these obstructions can be described in this verse of unwanted creepers. They simply present obstacles for the real creeper, the bhakti lata. One should be very careful to avoid all these unwanted things. Sometimes these unwanted creepers look exactly like the bhakti creeper. They appear to be of the same size and the same species when they are packed together with the bhakti creeper. But in spite of this, the creepers are called upasaka. A pure devotee can distinguish them between bhakti creeper and a mundane creeper, and he is very alert to distinguish them and keep them separate. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop. Thank you very much. We're on text 160. Jai. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Dundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Jami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakale Priya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Hari Purusha Namah Bhajami Govinda Hari Purusha Namah Bhajami Govinda Hari Purusha Namah Bhajami Govinda Hari
Namo Vishnu Pataya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namanichi Namane Dayavira Gauravani Bacha Naked Vivisesha Shunyavadi Sajjanati Satarinde Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Siva Sati Gaurvata Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Siva Sati Gaurvata Vrinda Naya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Siva Sati Gaurvata Vrinda Ati Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ati Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Gokinana, Gokinana, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Gokinana, Gokinana, Radhe. Jaya Radha. Hey, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. Hey, Radhe. Jai Om Vishnu Pad.
Harinam Sankirtan today, 4 o'clock in Chapel Hill on Franklin Street, 4 to 6. There's a very important basketball game today, so there'll be a lot of people out partying before the game. So, please come. Chaitodarpanam marjanam bhavamahadavagni nirvapanam. Shay, always nice to see you dressing on Saturdays. Vidyavadu jivanam anandam buddhi vardhanam pratipanam vernamrita swadanam sarvatma snapanam param vijayate Shri Krishna sankirtanam nam namakari bahudani jasarva shaktis tatrapitani amita smarane nakala Etadrishita Vakriba Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahitshuna Amani Namana Dena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kikaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kribayata Vapada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrushim Vachintaya Nayanam Garshu Daraya Varanam Gadgurudaya Gira Purakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane bhavishyati yugayatam namishena chakshusha bravashayatam shunayatam jagat sarvam govindam virahename ashlishya-vapadamratam vanastumam adarshanam marma hatakarotuva yatatava vidadatulam pato mat prananatastu saivanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One must be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will I cry? And then the recitation of your name. Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he's always my worshipful Lord unconditionally. Sri Shastika ki jai.